Hey YouTube, Ryu here. Now, some people are going to sit there and try to say that I'm, making a clickbait video with this one, but I'm honestly asking the question, does Google have a problem with FLASHplayer? Now, I use Google Chrome on my phone. I use it on my computer. I'm thinking I might end up stopping doing that at some point, given some other political aspects of it, but that's not what this video is about. Google Chrome recently went through a back-end update, and people are having some problems while browsing incognito on their PC with FLASHplayer. Well, what's this problem, you may ask? Well, even if you have it to where FLASHplayer is set to play on every website, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, it's still blocking FLASHplayer from activating. So if you're in incognito, here's what you have to do. You have to go ahead, get the website. You can go ahead and and put a little star symbol in brackets with a comma to go ahead and say, look, anything with this site name in it, go ahead and allow FLASHplayer to go. But you have to go into your settings, and you have to do that for each website you browse incognito if you want Flash to be able to play in it, and then you have to reload the site and so on and so forth. That in and of itself, it could be some sort of glitch, some sort of programming error, whatever. But one of the reasons why it's happening kind of has me a little bit on the leery side. It's because they have an analytics thing with Google that goes, oh, well, you visit this site constantly, so you obviously trust this site, so we're going to go ahead and allow things like this to go through. But if it thinks that you've never visited the site before, kind of like with incognito, since it doesn't keep records of that, all of a sudden, you have to go through all these extra steps to browse incognito. I'll make another video about that problem on its own, because that's a video all in and of itself. But the reason why I'm asking if Google has a problem with FLASHplayer is because anyone who owns an Android device who's been around for a while knows that Android actually used to support FLASHplayer. It no longer does. There's no real way of getting it to support FLASHplayer. Not without going through, doing rooting, putting in a different OS, and just in every way voiding your warranty on your phone. And making it a real issue. And for those, few people still playing Pokemon Go, playing with a rooted phone isn't exactly a possibility, since they stopped rooted devices from accessing the Pokemon Go servers. So, I pose the question again. Does Google have a problem with Flash? Right now, I'm not sure. It's up in the air. But if Google keeps screwing with websites that use FLASHplayer to deliver their content, then I would have to say yes. But as it is right now, I think Google has more of a problem with privacy than it does with FLASHplayer as in and of itself. It seems like Google's really wanting those analytics. Now, luckily when I browse incognito, I don't go to too many different websites. I usually use incognito for very specific websites, but I also use it for certain web searches. just so that way I don't have to go through and individually clear out my browsing history, yada yada yada. For, you know, different reasons. You know, some of them more adult oriented, some of them for research purposes, and some of them just because I don't want to deal with it. But at this point, Google is now making that an infinitely more difficult situation. Now, I can still use the Google search engine to go ahead and conduct my searches, but I can do it with something like Firefox. Who doesn't have an issue with incognito using Flash? So I do have my options open, but I prefer the Google browser because then, you know, all of my, you know, I can have all of my accounts linked up and, you know, basically synchronize everything across the board, which is convenient. What's not convenient is me having to sit there if I'm, you know, going ahead, I'm having one of those lonely nights and it syncs my web search between all my different accounts, you know, for big tits. All right, let's just be completely honest, that's not exactly an awesome thing. I shouldn't have to go through all of my devices and delete my browsing history because I searched something up on my computer or I searched something up on my phone. That's the whole point of incognito. That's the only thing it does for you. So if you're one of those people that thinks that when you browse incognito that you can't be tracked or anything like that, no, that's not the case. All it does is it basically stops your browsing history. That's what it effectively does for you. There's a few other back-end things that it does, but you don't need to concern yourself unless you're really deep into the tech field. But I mean, I haven't seen any problems with any other programs or anything like that while browsing in incognito. It's only FLASHplayer. And that's causing an issue for me. Especially because when I went on to search for an answer for it, I was all like, hey, what the hell's going on? Did I do something wrong? You know, other people have been having this problem. And you've got Google employees saying that incognito has no bearing on it. That it's never had any bearing on it. I can prove that wrong. All I have to do is open up a window with, you know, and go to a site that uses Flash, and then open up an incognito window. Go to that exact same website. The incognito window won't load. Like, the website will load, but anything Flash related says, sorry, you need FLASHplayer 10. Here's where you download it. Even though I already have it. And I have to go through all these extra steps to do it just because Google wants to get the analytics. Now go ahead and combine that with them trusting some very non-trustworthy sources for fact-checking the results in Google searches. Well, that's a big problem. There seems to be a whole lot of dissemination of information being wiped out at this point. Now, FLASHplayer, is it a big deal? Not necessarily, but a lot of websites still use FLASHplayer. And it's understandable why. I mean, it's a compact thing, you know, and it's very simple to use and upload things to. Very much so like Java. Except it has a few extra functionalities that are a little easier to implement. But I mean, Google already stopped supporting Flash completely. They completely blocked support, official or non-official, on their devices. Basically, Android devices. Google owns that. They own the operating system. So, they've already blocked it there. And now we're seeing a block on incognito. What next? Just on Google Chrome, period? What? Because there's some websites that use Flash that has content on there that they don't necessarily agree with? See, that's the thing. Google was... If you're running a search engine and you want to remain popular, you want to remain that top dog, you have to stay neutral. And at this point, with the things that are going on with YouTube, with the things that have been going on with Android, with the things that have been going on the political side of it, and now this, I have to look sideways at it. I mean, at this point, I don't trust Google. When I think Google, now I think, all right, what agenda is going to be pushed? And at this point, I don't get where they really benefit so much from it, other than the fact that adult game sites tend to use Flash. You know, so hentai games and all that, you know, they tend to use Flash. Well, I know that Google is very much so against adult material and really not wanting to have too much political shit on there, even though they keep throwing themselves in the political ring. So, my question is, was this a mistake? I mean, I want to know what you guys think. Do you honestly think with the with everything that's been going on, and if you're not up to date on it, I gave you at least the jumping off point. Go ahead, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Let me know down in the comments. And don't get me wrong, you know, it's one of those things that very well could be just some glitch that someone overlooked. But if that was the case, you wouldn't have Google employees saying, oh, this has nothing to do with it. And then closing discussion so other people can't respond. You know, telling you this long drawn out thing and saying, or you could just go ahead and not browse incognito. And then saying in either a roundabout or direct way that this is because of Google applying its analytics algorithm to the back end of their browser. So, like with me, I'm one of those people, I watch things slowly develop. A lot of people are all like, oh, you're sitting there and committing a slippery slope fallacy. No, I'm just looking at what has been going on, and I'm saying that this goes in line with that assumption. Doesn't make it true, I'm not saying that it's true, I'm just saying it is a concern. Now, if someone that works for Google wants to go ahead, come in and explain it to me, then by all means, go for it. I'm not going to hold my breath, since since Google employees hate talking to YouTubers. In fact, I'm pretty sure they would sacrifice their firstborn instead of talking to a YouTuber about an issue that they may have with one of Google's services. Hopefully my account doesn't get shut down because Google said fuck you. But hey, whatever. Like I said, I'm going to call out bullshit when I see it. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if I like them or if I don't. But yeah, go ahead, let me know down in the comments if you found an easier workaround, like a side launch program or something like that that is verifiable, trustworthy, so on and so forth. Go ahead and let me know. Or, you know, send me a link. I'll go ahead and I'll look into it and I'll make an update video at that point. But as it is right now, the only solution that Google employees have been offering is you either don't browse incognito and have to go through all the bullshit of wiping that shit from your browsing history and letting Google know where you're actually going, or you have to take preemptive steps to allow certain programs to run on websites while incognito mode. Steps that, in all honesty, are not end user friendly, and they are indeed a punishment. So, like I said, if anyone has any extra information, let me know down in the comments section. I'll try my damnedest to reply. Have a good day, everyone. Take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all later.